Okay, hello and welcome. We're recording. So this is a video as a supplement to the article I wrote as a foundation guide for a meditative group inquiry practice that we do. And I have a wonderful volunteer co-meditator here to practice with me. I'm going to give a short introduction, but mostly I want to jump right into the exercises so we can do this together, which is going to be fun. We'll get to do a little meditation. So the guide basically that I wrote has all the information, and these exercises can be a supplement to that. The first 4 exercises, well, each exercise will fit one of the bullet points. So the first 4 exercises are pretty meditative. And what we're going to do is go on a bit of a journey through the entire field of the human experience, through the field of body and mind inside ourselves, and body and mind outside ourselves, physical, mental, inside, outside. So I think that pretty much covers everything that can be experienced as a human being, except for perhaps non-experience, if such a thing exists. We won't go there today. So at any rate, we'll start with our own bodies. So this is number 1, exercise number 1, with our own bodies. And I like to do this exercise. I think it'll be fun to do it 2 ways, in which the first part we'll do it with our eyes closed, and then we'll do it with our eyes open. And we'll start to notice maybe if there's any difference between those 2. Doing it with the eyes closed, it's very much just like normal meditation, very much like the Vipassana taught by S.N. Goenka. Feeling our body, just closing our eyes and feeling our body. We notice our breath, we notice our body sensations, anything physical that's happening within ourselves, in our body, we're going to be noticing. And the whole time with any of these exercises, we want to notice anything that's happening, but specifically anything that's happening with the body, and we're going to name it out loud. So the way this will work, if you're ready, are you ready?
Yes.
Is we'll close our eyes and we're going to go back and forth for a couple minutes, and just back and forth, sort of ping pong style. And about every second or so, or half a second, 2 seconds, doesn't have to be perfect, but back and forth, so one at a time. And we're just going to name whatever's going on in our body in that moment. And it could just be a word like pain or cold, hot. We're going to stick to something physical, right? Sensation. Or if it helps, you can do a bit of a phrase like itching on the knee, right knee. Or if you want to even describe it a little bit, that's fine too. Like itching that's on my right knee and it's kind of moving up my thigh. Or a tingling that's in my toe. That, coming and going really fast, or it's staying there. It's totally okay to say the same thing again and again and again. So if there's just all you feel is pain, you can just say pain, 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 pain. And that's fine. That's still part of the practice. We're just noticing what's there. And eventually it'll change, because it always does. It never lasts forever. But it might last for the entire exercise. That would be fine. So we're not trying to change anything, not trying to do anything special with our bodies or with our breath. We're just noticing what's there and naming it. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that was a bit of a long introduction, but I think we can do this.
I think so too.
All right, so we'll start with our eyes closed, and then what we'll do is probably go for a couple minutes, and I'm just going to say, okay, let's open our eyes, but then we'll keep going. So we're not actually going to stop. We're just going to open our eyes, and so noticing that, all of a sudden we can see things which might be distracting, but still keeping the awareness in the body, even with our eyes open, which is good practice there. Okay, so, all right, let's close our eyes. Just take a second to feel your body, feel your breath. Notice this present moment. And then we'll begin. I'll go first. Itching on my left cheek.
Tension in my jaw.
Pressure on my bottom where I'm sitting on the chair.
A sensation of bloat around my belly.
Coolness on the skin.
Warmth down my throat.
Pressure in the belly.
Pulsation in my hands and feet.
Itching in my ear.
Pulsation.
Tingling in the feet.
Pressure against my arms with the table.
And noticing the breath.
More tension in my jaw.
A pleasant, tingly sort of sensation in my belly.
Opening of my breath.
Noticing longer, deeper breaths.
Relaxing breath.
Tingling on my face.
Tense shoulders.
Lightness.
Cracking of my spine.
Coolness.
Hot feet.
Cool, tingling.
Breeze against my skin.
Flickering in the eyes.
Heart pumping.
Itching on the scalp.
Pulsation, sensation in my jaw.
Tension in the face.
Breath.
Okay, and when we're ready, open your eyes. And let's stay with it. Coolness on my legs.
Tingling in my chest area.
Itching on the scalp.
Heart pounding.
Pressure on the top of the chest.
Fatigued thumb.
Lots of itches all across the scalp.
Deep breath.
more heaviness in the body, sinking.
Slowing down.
Coolness down the legs, sort of moving downward.
Straightening of spine.
Itching on the eyelid.
Tingles across my face.
Deeper breath.
Coolness on the bottom of my feet.
Coolness on my hands.
Belly area pulses.
Scratch in the throat.
Itchy across my eye.
Itches on the face.
Taking a deeper breath.
Okay, we can both take a deeper breath. We'll bring that to an end. So before we go on to the next exercise, and first I guess I would mention that this is totally something that anyone could do at home, even without a partner. Although I've also found it makes a great partner. It can also be done in a group. But sometimes I do it with my wife even, just chills us out, I gotta say. Sometimes you can kind of be moving too, walking in the woods, something like that. Doesn't even have to be sitting. So before we wrap it up though, maybe we can take a second to reflect. Do you want to share how that was for you or anything about that?
Yeah, it felt relaxing. Felt good also to take my time to check in and say what was the most up and front and center sensation, and had a calming effect on me.
Nice. So I noticed that one thing I noticed is there was one moment where I felt a lot of joy, and joy was the number one thing I was feeling. And I almost said joy, and then I kind of caught myself, and I was like, joy's not a sensation. And I tried to feel the joy, like, what is it? And I felt, like it was hard to actually capture what is joy, but I felt lightness and tingles. And so I think it was nice in that way to kind of keep me, that's actually going to be the next exercise. It would be appropriate, but for this exercise, that was good to stay on track. I noticed I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, just having the opportunity to kind of settle into my experience a bit more. And then I also noticed that when my eyes opened, I did I could tell sometimes it's I want to just kind of close my eyes again and feel it. Or sometimes I'm like, oh, what's going on with you? But then you're on a computer screen, obviously you're not actually here. So my eyes would kind of go to the computer screen, and I would lose track of my body a little bit doing that too. So
I resonate with that. At times, wanting to close my eyes to really just melt with what the feeling was.
Yeah. I guess also I should just make one last comment that both you and I had a pretty pleasant experience and found it calming, but that's not necessarily the purpose. The purpose is just to be aware. And if what's happening in the body is pain and discomfort and torturous anguish, or burning or heaviness, it happens. Yeah. or if you've been sitting too long and your butt hurts, or even if it's something totally ordinary, like, oh, I'm just itching, and it's just itching, and it's still itching and still itching. We're not trying to like judge an experience. We're not trying to create anything in particular. It often has a naturally calming effect, but if that doesn't happen, that's fine too. So I just thought I'd add that disclaimer. And with that, I guess we'll wrap up exercise 1, and we'll go on to exercise 2. So if you just did exercise 1, welcome back. I don't know if I'm going to cut the video there or not, or if I should stop the recording and restart, or just leave.
It's up to whoever's watching to take it upon themselves to pause, find a partner, or do it on their own, and then resume.
That's a good point. Well, we'll see how it comes out in the editing. So here it is, exercise 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the mental and emotional sphere of reality. So we just explored physical reality, and now we're going mental. And one interesting thing that I might point out is that in the Buddhist script, Pali language, I believe the word that's commonly used, this is, as far as, I'm not a scholar, but as far as I know, is citta, which kind of means both the mind and the heart. It's not as distinguished. So the heart mind. And I like that. I like that sentiment. So what we're doing is we're exploring the entire heart and mind. And so that could be all of the emotions, joy, anger, frustration, craving, calm, peace, everything that's an emotion. It includes all of the mental activities, so thinking, planning, remembering, forgetting, planning what I'm going to say next, criticizing myself. That's a really common thing that happens, or just mindless chatter, commentaries like, oh, Daniel, did you just really say that? Right? Like anything that's happening in the mind. And then also mental activity itself. So like shifting of attention or an intention to speak. Like if, before I speak, there's an intention to say something. So I'm just noticing any of those like subtle movements of the mind where or my attention shifts to you. Anything like that. That's all we're going to call all of that mental and emotional activity, and we're going to pay attention to it. So we'll do the same thing. We'll start with our eyes closed, and then we'll open our eyes halfway through, and we'll just go back and forth, sharing. It could just be one word like planning, love, joy, worry, commentary, or a phrase, but not getting too deep into it, because with the mind sometimes there's more of a, like a memory about this movie I just watched. Have you seen it? It's really good. So we don't want to like get lost right now. Maybe we might get lost after we're done with the exercise, but not right now. Does that make sense?
It does. Yes.
Great. Okay, so again, let's just close our eyes, take a second. Nice breath. Find your body, find your breath. Find the present moment. Noticing what's happening. And then noticing the mind, the state of mind, the emotions, the mental activities. And I'll go first. Excitement.
Anticipation.
Commentaries.
Hesitation.
Nervousness.
Inquiring.
Worry.
Care.
Letting go.
Letting go.
Enjoyment.
Jovial.
Just a little bit of anxiety.
Thinking about food.
Amusement.
Joy.
Lightness.
Remembering.
Sense of connection.
Desire to be in the past.
Contentment.
Burgeoning mischievousness.
Planning my next comment.
Laughter.
Surprise.
Making up silly rules for this.
Enjoyment.
Wanting to be funny.
Curiosity.
Relaxing.
Discussion with myself.
Feeling blank.
Hoping.
Feeling spacious.
Commentary.
Feeling kind of big. More spacious.
And staying with our experience, we can open our eyes and see if we can continue with this anticipation.
Relaxation.
Enjoying your presence.
Resistance. And surprise.
Love.
Opening. Fun.
Embarrassment.
Guilt.
A lot of commentary about myself.
Letting go.
Oh, like analysis, thoughts.
Feeling a bit tripped out.
Amusement.
Contemplating existence.
Imagining imagining.
Deep thoughts.
Curiosity.
Worry.
Enjoyment.
Relaxing.
Memories.
Memories.
Amusement and joy.
Fascination.
Wondering.
Thinking about stealing plants.
Surprise.
Imaginings.
Wanting to go inside.
Feeling spacious.
Gratitude.
Love.
Or gratitude.
Mischievousness.
Okay. We have to stop eventually. We'll stop it there.
Might as well.
So, a couple of points that I just wanted to make real quick. Again, emphasizing that whatever happens, happens. If it's pleasant or unpleasant, if it's joyful or if it's pure anguish, we're just noticing what happens. So there's no need to compare your experience to our experience. Just notice what's there. The other thing is that I think I might have heard you say it, which is really good because I almost forgot, is that I think you said blank. So at any point, this is an important point of the practice. At any point, if you feel blank or nothing's there, or if it's just hazy or confusing what's there, that's fine. Just name that. So it could just, and even if the whole exercise is just blank, 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 that's all right too. So it's good to have those sort of outs so you don't feel like pressure, like I'm not finding anything. I'm looking, but I'm not finding anything. There's just nothing there right now. That's fine. Right now, there's nothing there. Or it's blank. And sometimes actually there's a difference between nothing and blank, which is kind of curious. Also, it's like, oh, no, this isn't nothing. This is blankness. Or, that could be weird too.
And if you're looking for something, but then you're finding you're just a blank, you can have an emotion arise in response to that. It's like, why am I not feeling anything?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm frustrated.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, or criticism or commentaries about it, or the looking itself, searching, looking. So the basic idea is just to look, see what's there, name it, and move on. So it's not, the idea isn't to get the perfect word. The idea isn't to find something special. The idea isn't to like really struggle with this. Like, you look, see what's there, name it, move on. All right. And then the other thing that kind of came to mind is like with mental activity, sometimes you might notice like that some of it's kind of comes like in words, and sometimes it's like images, like visual. it's just more details to notice, all of the imagination that can happen, like different pictures or movies that are running in the head. And sometimes they're color movies, or sometimes they're black and white. They might even feel like they have a location in your head. So any of these details, just details, whatever it is, pay attention to that. All right, so let's take a moment and reflect. Do you want to share anything from your experience?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, the, so the mischievousness comes from this idea I had of like making a joke, which would be to say, okay, and everybody who's watching this, remember, this is a competition to see who feels the best. So whoever is having the most positive emotions win. And I lost when I said worry. So, dang it. And then it's just like I enjoy this, just taking this time to just tell on myself in this space for reflection, because like those things come up sometimes, and it's like, oh, look at that little brain thought pattern fart, like, okay, and name it, and in naming it, it's easier to let it go as well.
You know what amazes me about that is like how quickly that thought, like to actually tell me what you were thinking, it just took you, like 15 seconds to tell the joke basically.
Mm-hmm.
But the thought's just like, what if I say this? Like, and then you might already be saying it before you even realize that, there was a thought to say it. I'm just amazed how quick our minds can like think up some little thing and like just put it.
Yeah, and it kept me going. Like I mentioned mischievousness a few times, and this like it was like persistent. It wanted to like come out or something,
Mm.
and like kept things fun for me for some reason. So yeah,
Mm. Wow, interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed is like there was a very definite shift from the first exercise to the second in terms of feeling more connected with you.
Oh yeah,
And I don't necessarily, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, I don't think, but it, it certainly was for me. There was just so much more like when I heard you, or I think we started, I think I said I was worried and you said care. Um, which I think probably, I was feeling connected. I don't actually know. Maybe you were caring about something unrelated, but there was
yeah,
similar moments. I'd hear you say something like joy, and then I feel joy, or um, so it was amazing, just like how much with just like one little word, we're already connecting. Like we're connecting
right.
with just the word, and we haven't even really dove fully into the practice, like of
That brings me to another point. It's like, what if, okay, it's like up until now I've just been checking in what was real for me, but what if I lied? What if I said something that, like, I'm saying joy, but I'm not feeling anything, and the other person has a reaction? Like, can that happen and spiral back? And, like, there's all kinds of things that can be done, but also
That's
feeling out of
interesting.
integrity.
Yeah, or maybe you lie about feeling joy, and for some reason I feel anger, and I'm like, why do I feel anger? But I name anger, and then it turns out that you lied, and then I'm like, oh, well, that's, sometimes there's like those spooky things
Yeah,
that happen where
yeah,
you're more connected than you think.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of interesting stuff that could come of it.
I also don't want to reciprocate. Like, it was relational, and like there was like some bouncing off of each other for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I would say more so with my eyes open, even.
Mm-hmm.
With my eyes closed, there was some sense of like I'm still kind of in my own little world, and I can kind of hear you interacting with my world. But with my eyes open, actually, once I opened my eyes, it's like my attention went straight to you. And I felt a lot more tuned into you and connected with you.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, so that was exercise 2. We'll see if we can continue on with 3 and 4, and then we will probably take a little break after that. Okay, so exercise 3. Welcome back if you've just practiced exercise 2. Exercise 3, now we're gonna do something a little bit trickier now, is we're gonna actually observe the world outside of us. So we're gonna do exercise 3 and 4 are gonna continue to be body and mind, but we're going outside ourselves. And so what we're gonna notice now, we're not gonna do this with our eyes closed because we want our eyes open. We're gonna let the world come to us, all our 5 senses, or seeing and hearing and all the other senses too. We're going to take in the other person. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go back and forth the same way, what we just did. But again, it could be a word or it could be a phrase. But we're noticing anything outside of ourselves. With a little bit of a special intention to pay attention to you. So I'm noticing you as the other person here with me, but I might also be noticing like the glare on my computer screen, or if there's a bug in the room, or my water bottle if I'm thirsty. So the environment is also included. So there's no rules. If you're just noticing your environment, you're noticing your environment. But if I'm noticing you, I'm noticing you. And so I might notice like you just blinked and you blinked again and you blinked and now you're blinking. And and now you're smiling. Although as much as possible, we want to get specific. So I said you're smiling, but actually what I noticed is I noticed these 2 lines on the edges of your lips kind of like became more indented, right? So I might just say, I'm noticing your lips move. So what we're going for is that kind of detail, physical detail. And this can be a bit awkward to be looked at with such scrutiny. So if it's awkward, that's okay. But I guess in a way it's kind of nice because there's no discussion about it. Like, maybe I'm noticing the shadow on your nose. Maybe for you, that brings up some insecurity about your nose, and you've always thought your nose is a little crooked or too big or too small. Well, we're not going to discuss it right now. And as much as you can, your attention isn't going to be on your own self-consciousness so much as your attention is going to be back on me. All right.
All right.
So one can be a little intense, and this one obviously you do need a partner for. I suppose you could do it with a mirror, yeah, or you could video record yourself. Or I suppose you could do this out in the environment, but it's slightly different with another human being.
Selfie.
Yeah. No, why not experiment? All right. Does it make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
So physical observations of the world around us. All right. Just take a second, close our eyes, just connect with ourselves first. Okay, you can open your eyes and notice your face looks relaxed.
And notice your facial expression.
I'm seeing the way you're kind of moving your head to one side.
And taking in your facial hair and hair.
I'm noticing that you just put your hands like this.
I'm noticing you're noticing me. It's just funny, noticing you're smiling.
I'm seeing the kind of like dimples on your cheeks when you smile.
I'm noticing the way your face comes back to a neutral space after you've spoken.
Seeing your body go up and down as you laugh.
I'm noticing your big smile.
Oh, I saw your eyebrows raise with that one.
I notice the speed with which you give your notices towards me.
I'm noticing all of the audio equipment around your face.
I'm noticing your headgear and microphone cables around your face.
Is watching you breathe in and out.
I'm watching you watching me.
Brightness on your t-shirt.
Noticing some eyebrow movements of yours.
Notice that the whiteness of your teeth match your t-shirt.
I'm noticing the timbre of your voice as you're speaking.
Noticing how your body is almost constantly in some sort of motion.
I'm noticing you blinking.
Seeing the one big shadow on one side of your nose.
I'm noticing your cheekbones.
Watching your fingers as you trace that out.
I'm noticing your smile as you end that sentence.
I heard your voice kind of like a bit softer or something like that.
Notice you closing your lips.
I'm enjoying your steady gaze.
Noticing how your face kind of stays still after you speak.
seeing your face looks like bright and kind of, yeah, we'll go with bright.
Noticing your hand movements and licking your lips.
It's how you lick your lips.
Noticing your chuckling.
Oh, I hear that, the sound of that laugh, that particular that sound.
Noticing your imitation of my laughter.
Okay, maybe we'll stop it there. I think that was good. I think we went a while.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. So, it's don't have a lot of points to add to that, although I might reemphasize that there can be an intensity to this, and I was feeling some of that intensity. But this is also, wow, I mean, such a powerful part of this practice, such a powerful tool to just notice something about someone else. It's powerful. Like it, I think, in number one, it like brings them to more fully into their experience. Like, oh, whoa. Like I was just mindlessly doing this and someone noticed and it's like, oh, what? Like, but it's got a gentleness to it because we're not trying to judge. Like I'm not judging how you nod your head. I'm just noticing. I see that you're nodding your head. So it's that same non-judgmental quality that we had in the first two exercises, where what we might be noticing is good or bad or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're just noticing it.
Yeah, I would say ideally, because I know some people are very much able to say with scorn in their voice, notice how you cocked your head. Like it's like you did wrong. Like they can do that with just how they're using their voice. But
like they might smuggle in a judgment.
yeah, with the broader language voice.
And on the flip side, sometimes people might feel judged even if I have no judgment at all.
Right.
Like, oh, I just heard you laugh like this.
Right.
And they feel like you're judging my laugh, right?
You're mocking me.
That's just what I heard, So yeah, and the judgment relates to the intensity for sure.
And at least what we're saying shouldn't contain judgments. So we're just noticing what you can taste, smell, see, touch, and so on.
Yeah, which is the essence of meditation, right? I mean,
I would say regarding the intensity, when I got an observation, like sometimes it was just easy to just like, I'm going to say something about you now, and that was fine. Other times it's like, just like you said, I was like, oh, he caught something, or even like some like an energy just going like boom, oh, I'm having attention on me, or something, and my system kind of wanted like, what was that in me, and wanted to like stay with myself, and then that became like, no, well, I'm not doing that now. I'm doing like looking and putting my attention out there. So at times there was a part of me that wanted to like stay here, but I had to kind of like force myself to like notice something and verbalize it.
Yeah, I agree. I had a similar experience of like flip-flopping back and forth in my own experience. And, or sometimes something was just like so funny. It was like, and then I'm like just laughing, and I have to remind myself, oh yeah, pay attention to him, which is good practice. And it's really an interesting sort of exploration of how we draw attention to ourselves or to another person in our relationships, even outside of this, like out in the world, because there's a big tendency to just kind of like be self-absorbed in the world at large. And so this may be a practical tool for getting out of that. And I think it also can be a useful part of the practice if someone's new to this practice, or even if you're not new and you're just enjoying this. Like if something's happening and you're just telling me a story, like say you told me a story about something sad that happened to you today, and I think there's a tendency out in the world to want to be like, I want to fix this, or I want to like say comfort you or something, or who knows, or maybe I just want to check out because I don't want to listen to someone's sad story right now. But just simply like, I noticed the tone of your voice when you were telling that story it was like I could hear your voice cracking or something like that. Like going straight into just that observation like brings that presence, that awareness, and can be a really powerful contribution to the inquiry. Any other reflections?
No, I'm pretty good.
All right, so that was exercise 3, and if we have time, we'll go on to exercise 4 right now. Do you have time?
I do.
We're going a little past what we planned for here, but it's good.
So much fun.
All right, so welcome back to exercise 4. If you joined us for the first 3, I'm so thrilled that you've joined us. It's great to have you here, third viewer. So, exercise 4, by now you should be able to figure out what this is. Can you name it?
Well, I have the document right in front of me, so
Well,
it's notice the heart/mind of another.
there you go. So we did the body inside, the heart and mind inside, the body outside, and now the heart and mind outside. And this can be perhaps the slipperiest and trickiest territory, I think, of all, because I can't really hop inside your brain. And so it's approached with a lot of lightness and curiosity. So we're going to change it just a little bit. And we're going to go with a specific phrase. So instead of like, I'm noticing you smile, we're going to go with it seems, or you seem. And you don't have to stick to that language exactly. And there might be instances where someone's yelling at you and you might just say, you're angry. And it's obvious. I know you're angry. I know because you're yelling. And so there's not a lot of guesswork. But and other times there might be like, you seem angry. No, I'm not angry right now. I love you. Whatever. So it's not like a rigid exercise using the word seems, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to once again put our intention fully on the other person, or at least out in the environment. If you can sense the heart and mind of the environment, which maybe you can or can't, I don't know. So, to give an example, without that seeming too esoteric, could be like the relationship itself. Like, it seems tense in here. right? That's something that people say. They walk into a room, seems tense in here, or feels tense in here. What does that mean? Like, is the room actually tense? Who knows what that means? And, I'm not going to try to scientifically figure out what that means. Or even the we space, the experience of we, like we seem like really connected right now. So no, that's a bit abstract, but hopefully it's not actually all that complicated. It's just kind of like feeling the presence in the room or feeling the presence of the person. And it doesn't have to be right. That's the best thing about the word seems. Like, you might seem happy to me and actually you're not, and that's fine, because I'm I'm just naming my perception. That's all I can really name anyways. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So we'll see how this goes. If you get lost, just you seem blank is the kind of sentence stem.
And not about my own, like I seem blank or
No, so we're going to try to keep the
yeah,
attention,
out there.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, we seem is fine too. You seem,
Yeah.
we seem,
All right.
this conversation seems. But it's, I don't know, it's a little abstract, but I think
Yeah.
we can do it. It's not as complicated as it sounds. All right, let's take a second, just kind of check in with ourselves. Nice deep breath. All right, opening our eyes. I can go first. You seem ready.
Hmm. Hmm. You seem pointed.
You seem very accurate in your observations.
Yeah. You seem impressed.
You seemed a little more distant.
You seem a little taken aback.
You seem to have all of your attention right on me.
We seem to know how this is supposed to work.
We're enjoying this moment.
It seems like we are.
You are definitely enjoying this.
You seem very sure of this.
You are paying attention.
You seem to have stopped with the seams.
You noticed that I stopped with the seams.
You stopped with the seams.
You observed correctly.
Hmm. You seem anticipating.
You seem fully present.
You seem generous.
It seems like there was more behind that statement than what you said.
We seem to be onto something.
You seem like you trust me.
Hmm. You are correct.
You seem like you have a very big heart.
You seem to see the best in people.
You are you're paying close attention.
You seem to have a value on presence.
You really care about this kind of practice.
You seem intently focused on me.
You seem very close.
You seem a little scared or sad.
Your energy seems much more serious right now.
Yours does too.
You seem willing.
You seem able.
You like humor.
You seem to like pointing out things about me.
You really like humor.
We seem to have had a revelation here.
Yeah, the energy has shifted from serious.
You seem to have an ease moving from state to state.
You seem to enjoy moving from state to state with me.
You seem self-assured.
I think we should stop at some point. Meaning now.
All right. That's
I mean, I feel like I could keep going forever, but we are recording this, so. Well.
exactly my words exactly. Well, how about them apples?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily want to stop. Yeah, that was pretty awesome for me. So um, I don't know if I have any points off the top of my head. I'm like still kind of like collecting myself, like
It was
from that
wild.
experience. It was wild, and I've got to say, like you said a couple things that just like they landed inside of my heart in a way that was just like kind of opened things up and like
Wow.
yeah, it just felt like really nice to be seen. So I appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah.
How beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm not sure I would have known if you hadn't said that.
Yeah. And part of that's because I wasn't able to share my experience. Like
Yeah, yeah, of course. I
there
mean,
was, yeah. And there was a couple of times where I wanted to say something like, wow, I feel seen right now. But I was like, well,
yeah,
that's about me. And so it's like, you know, that's the exercise.
right. Same
Um,
here. So it kind of mirrors the previous exercise when you get something that's an observation and something like, oh, wait, that hits me right here. And I feel that. And I, I should say something about this. Like there's a nuance or there's a something I want to share. And then it's like, no, I'm going to focus there and say something about that other person. And it's a little jarring, and there's a feeling of unreality that happens when I remove that talking about myself thing. It feels a little unreal. Yeah,
hmm, hmm,
it's like I'm not entirely authoring my own experience or how I viewing myself in the situation. I'm actively removing my own interpretation of myself. So instead of projecting that out by saying something or how I want to be seen or shape the conversation, I just that's all that's gone, and that makes this again feeling unreal
hmm.
because I can't like stop the interpretations coming from you, and so I kind of have to like be with those instead of whatever I may or may not have going.
Yeah.
So it's wild and a little trippy as well. It's
Yeah.
just whoa.
Trippy. And an interesting like way to kind of explore that the way that the attention wants to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it could be intense. Like if someone was doing this at home, like um, if someone, if you said something and it really landed for me, and I need to like feel that or process it or something, like sometimes that's just more important. Like, um, than sticking to the exercise. It's like, so if you are doing this and something intense comes up, like that's totally fine. Um, you don't have to feel like, oh, I need to shut this down so I can keep going with exercise. And that's the beauty of once we get into the real free form practice, which we'll do in future videos, hopefully, is when you're in the free form practice, you don't have the rigidness of these exercises. And it's like something comes up and then this comes up and this comes up, and you just kind of, it's like this beautiful universe unfolding in all of its multicolored, fantastic rainbows of beauty.
That said, doing these in isolation is really good practice so that when you then combine them, you may take it upon yourself to like give these like you seems and like put yourself out of the conversation in order to have that other person just have this like whoa big experience,
Mm.
and that
Mhm.
could be a great service and a gift.
Yes, yes. Service and a contribution. Yeah. To yeah, there's times where you might be like, you know what, I'm having an experience, but let me put this aside and just be
Mhm.
with you. Also, I thought maybe I just briefly go back to the seam thing because that was pretty fun. At one point, we dropped the seams and then we brought back the seams, and I think that flowed really well. I mean, it's that's sometimes it's like, no, you don't seem angry, you are angry, or you don't seem happy, you're just happy. And maybe I'm still wrong, but
Yeah.
um,
And of course, if you're just saying you are this or you're that, or you're seeing, I don't have the option in this exercise to go, no, I'm not that. I'm this. Like, nope. It's just like, has to like move
yeah,
away from that or dodge that in my system somehow, or and then focus on you.
yeah,
It's a fascinating thing to be doing, and like if you're watching this and you're thinking, yeah, but that seemed obvious or whatever or something, and then you do this practice with somebody, you'll notice it's probably a very different thing to be observing this and actually doing the practice.
that could be true. Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
Definitely from just reading about it, it's not going to be making it any justice at all.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to make these videos.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we're going to stop there. That's a good breaking point. And then this is the foundation, though. Those 4 exercises, that can be the complete practice in and of itself, the foundation. Um, Everything else is just kind of like refining and honing the skills. But that is the meditative practice of just noticing the entire realm of experience, noticing the mind, the body, the mind, inside, outside. Okay, well, we'll wrap that up and then we'll get another session going in the future for some more. Say goodbye,
Excellent.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for participating too.
And
Thanks.
thank you for hosting. It was a blast.
All right.